Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? High Speed X. What's good? This is your boy Trey, and you're rocking with your favorite vets on the next First Formation Morning Sports Talk. Get to it. Get to formation. Y'all know what it is when y'all here. Falling. I know we've been going for a second, just been doing some things here and there, but still here. Ain't going nowhere. So what's good with y'all after this past Memorial Day weekend, of course, all things go out to those who had lost or given their life for ultimate, what we call as the ultimate sacrifice. Immortalizing that day, Memorial Day, as we get a chance to honor and serve and in remembrance in state. So took care of that for Friday, Monday. It was plenty going on Monday. Just not far as the past weekend prior to. Of course, before we get into what the real topic is, which is two, we have, of course, crowned a Eastern Conference champion in the NBA, crowned the Eastern and Western Conference champion in the MBA, as well as a overall champion. Of course, we'll talk about that in a few. But first, of course, NHL is going on. Another one of the top five major conferences. That's the NBA. The NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, and the MLS. Of course, this one we're talking about is the NHL, which currently has the table set for who will be competing for this year's 2023 Stanley Cup Finals, in which that will basically pit the already minted, been sitting there for a while, waiting, twiddling their thumbs, Florida Panthers against from the East against the West Coast's own Las Vegas Golden Knights, as they took care of business last night versus the Dallas Stars with a thrashing 6-0 in a Game 6 solidification. Golden Knights go on Saturday. It's going down. Game 1 of the NHL's Stanley Cup playoffs as they get it going to determine who will be this year's champion. Of course, in the MLB yesterday, MLB, I'm sorry, Major League Baseball. Of course, you had a couple of games that went on last night. The Cleveland Guardians faced off against the Baltimore Orioles, giving them a goose egg with the win of 5-0. The Rangers complete the same task, same score over the Detroit Tigers with the score of 5-0 themselves. Kansas City Royals tap in saying, "I got this, hold our beer." They come in dispatching the Cardinals by the score of 7-0. The Chicago Cubs didn't get as high on the totem pole, but they did exact the same type of scoreless inactions as the Rays fall to the Cubs by the score of 1-0. All other games, of course, for the most part, scores as the New York Yankees take care of business over the Seattle Mariners by a score of 10-4. The Los Angeles Angels handled the Chicago White Sox by the score of 6-4. The Atlanta Braves, the Oakland A's, 7-2 Oakland. San Francisco Giants put up a 10-point dub on the Pittsburgh Pirates with a score of 14-4. The Minnesota Twins and the Astros face off. The Twins enact their vengeance. What's good, Courtney? Glad to have you in formation with us this morning, brother. I hope your day's going well. Hope your week went well. Minnesota Twins, like you said, get the dub 7-5. Colorado Rockies take care of the get taken care of by the Arizona Diamondbacks backs by the same score, 7-5. And last but not least, those beloved Dodgers 6-1 over the Washington Nationals as they take care of business as well. So, well, you know what? Before we get into, as we know, the Women's National Basketball Association is in full swings. Currently, 4 games roughly into their season, this year's season. When you take a look at that, one thing you can act is, in my opinion, the Las Vegas Aces are the real deal. Um, Currently ripping through the WNBA. Yes, sir. No problem. Definitely, bro. Currently ripping through the WNBA. I guess you could say it's early for the most part, but in any case, um, the Aces, the Aces, the Aces. I see why my sister decided to give up her loyalty to the Sparks and now rock with her hometown Aces. Um, Aces ripping through the WNBA currently 4-0 in their games. Just ripped through the links on Sunday from a score of 94-73. The Chicago Sky, not too far behind, take care of the Dallas Star Wings by the score of 94-88. The Atlanta Dream and the Fever face off, very close game. Dream with the dub. The Fever with the dub, winning 90-87. Of course, they got a couple of games up next on the slate. Opportunities for a couple of teams to get out the winless column as the Liberty and Storm will face off tonight. Liberty 2-1, Storm 0-2 since the loss of Brianna Stewart. They got the last game of the night. The Minnesota Lynx and the Dallas Wings, as the Lynx look to get out the winless column, as currently they're 0-4. Connecticut Sun to face off against the Fever. Sun currently 3-1. Look for all games are Commissioner's Cup games except for the Liberty score. And then last but not least, and a Dream face off against the Chicago Sky. So if you get the opportunity, be sure to catch one of those WNBA games tonight on your viewing station. Hell, if you have the opportunity, go ahead, pull up to the game. Dallas, Seattle, Connecticut, and Atlanta. ATL, showed so let's get into this, right? Let's talk about this. Last night's game, as we all know, probably shouldn't even be talking about right now. Actually, what we should be talking is we should still be talking about the same thing, right? We definitely should be talking about the same thing, but the context or the content in which you're about to speak of should maybe been spoken of in a different way. First of all, I definitely like to. I wish my cohort was on right now because there was a lot of talking. He was talking about the Boston Celtics, right? A lot of talking he had, in my opinion, he had to say. A lot of things he had to say about the Celtics, in which it was a few people that was like, nah. Now, truth be told, all of us thought that Miami was going to handle the Celtics 2 games ago, at minimum, 2 games ago, in which that didn't happen. I'm very sure they put a hellacious scare in the hearts of true Miami Heat fans, right? I said Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat. Put a lot of scare in the hearts of Miami Heat fans due to the fact of 3-0, the 151st team with in the 3-0 deficit. As we know it, no team has ever came back from that. And then we blink, it's 3-1. Blink again, it's 3-2. Blink one more time. Actually, probably 3 or 4 blinks after that game 6, which we're going to talk about in a sense. Matter of fact, let's talk about now. The game 6, right? So definitely a position to where no one wants to really be in. If you watch the game that night, the Miami Heat were able to come back and then hold on to the lead, jostling with the lead back and forth, in which Miami finally had an opportunity to claim the lead after Jimmy Butler shot 3 free throws after being fouled by Al Horford. Right? So, um, so after being fouled by Al Horford, sent them to the line. 3 seconds remaining on the clock, in which looked very dismal for Miami at that time. They was cheering and just expecting the closeout was coming, and it was that part. You know what, BJ, you ain't never lied, bro. But that part, in state is no box out. First and foremost, great look by Marcus Smart. It basically went down, came back out, but of course, what we're taught from day one: box out, box out, box out. Max Struess allowed Derek White in his hairline to get make a unabated run at the rim to where he was there, Johnny on the spot with point 0.2 seconds left on the clock. So you'll say real quick, what I want to do is bring in somebody. We're going to talk about this a little bit. First, we're going to talk about some other things it was happening. If you, as you watch his jury for this morning that he's rocking, of course, like we talked about earlier, two things that went on. Of course, first being the crowning of the Eastern Conference champion, the Miami Heat, that we're going to continue to talk about. But first, let's get into something that we're more, for the most of us, are more educated on. Most of us are more engaged with, and that being military basketball. As you know, this past weekend, the MBA Military Basketball Association was live in effect in Wichita, Kansas. Took assault in which only one can walk away as the Highlander. In this particular case, the Highlander for the year is none other than the Luke Air Force Base and Coach Paris. Coach Paris, what's good this morning, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. How's everybody out there doing?
Oh yeah, I'm very sure they all tapped in and up to it. So, two-time NBA basketball champions. How does that feel to say that this morning?
And it feels damn good. I'm gonna be honest with you. Feels real good.
Of course, I would think that. So, that was the whole experience like, Coach? We're not going to even get into the fact of what happened when you take in consideration the televised, national televised. What was the atmosphere and everything like this past weekend in Wichita?
It was great. I think by far, going back, 2018 was first NBA tournament, and I feel like this one was definitely the best one.
Okay.
The venue was a little bit different. We used Wichita hoops
Mm-hmm.
for the early stages, and that's a big complex there with 11 gyms. So all the teams were there, at the same time, which was great because you could always just walk over and watch other games, and all day you just watch it back and forth and watch it where the action was hot. Then for the Final Four, we moved over to the Koch Arena
Mm-hmm.
where the Shockers play, and we played the Final Four in our practice facility. So you had two games going on at the same time, and then we had the ability to go and play on the big court for the championship game.
Okay. And so, of course, your opponent that we will be talking to later on the week, Alex Miller for CMB in
Mhm.
state. So, in that moment, right? What were some of the things in which you was talking? Because at one point, y'all was in the third. Y'all, it was a pretty close game in the third, correct?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then after the third, kind of got blown open towards the end of the third. Actually,
Right.
a couple of calls went the opposite way, and then of course, as the coach does, you capitalize on it. But let's go into the whole aspect of the game and where, first and foremost, was there emotions that you had to kind of like harness, being that okay, championship game, televised. Um, how did your players first initials reaction to that in that point? Because I didn't catch the first half of the game. I caught the second half. So in that first half, was there anything like you had to reel them back in because of the moment, or was it all easy peasy, no problem?
I didn't have to reel them in. I honestly thought I would, but the guys came out and shot the ball better than I expected them to early. Because,
Okay.
typically we're used to playing in smaller venues, of course. So when you're playing in a big arena like that, the depth perception typically can lead to, some off shooting until the players adjust. But I thought both teams came out and shot the ball better than I expected. It's something we had talked about. We really didn't even celebrate after winning the Eastern Conference because we came here with a mission and one goal, and that was to walk away with the NBA championship.
So speaking of the Eastern Conference, was your opponent in the Eastern Conference final game?
That was Fort Campbell out there. My good friend, great coach, Paul Parker, him and his crew. Their big guy Wooten continues to get better each year. Every time I see him, they got the point guard Boyd. You have Hendricks, you have Clark. Just a veteran team that we've battled with a couple times throughout the years.
Okay, and then which I actually spoke to Wooten last night, in which sometime during this week, him and Boyd should be on the show as well. So that should be a conversation to be had. So, of course, we talk about always praises and hell, Coach Paul Parker. What was that like in that back facing against a common foe for higher stakes at this point? And of course, no one has really hadn't seen them that much this year. Was there anything that came out to where you was like, oh man, that was like this, where it was a fight or just business as usual?
No, it's always a dogfight. It's never business as usual when you're going against a Paul Parker team because I do believe that a team takes on that identity of their head coach, right? If you know anything about Paul Parker, he's gonna fight for 40 minutes. So that's what you can expect for Fort Campbell. We've had the advantage of playing them. I think we played them a couple years ago, 2 times in the Western Conference Finals, and then once again in the NBA Finals. So we were sort of familiar with how they go about doing business, but at the same time, you still have to play the game. That was a game, fortunately for us, we started out very hot. We shot the ball very, very well, and I was able to build momentum and then just sort of maintain that lead throughout.
Okay, and then of course, like you said, facing in stadium, it came down to y'all go on move on to the conference the conference the finals game in which, like you said, CMB. What can you say about coaching up against Alex Miller, especially after them coming off their own conference championship, playing fresh, playing, of course, both teams playing in the NMBT, them coming out that from that championship in NMBT. Initially, when you realized that's who y'all was playing with, what was the first action that you enacted to you and your players?
Well, we're going to have to be strong on the perimeter because they have great guard play. Like all good military basketball teams, they have great guards. You have the D1 guy, Walker, so you have to prepare for him. Number 10, the lefty, not sure the young fella's name, but he can shoot the hell out the ball. Made a big shot to tie the game against Fort Benning where it looks like they were on the ropes. You have the veteran Mike Argyle out there, and of course everybody knows Perp Simp. And Simp he's a real good player.
Yes.
Lefty, strong, can shoot it, get downhill, and they also have the two big guys in the middle, 34 and 15. Very strong post-up game. So it's a very good all around team. Very good team. Alex, is a real good player, real good coach. So you're going to have a dogfight on your hands. And if your defensive principles aren't strong, you're probably going to end up on the losing side of things.
Well, in this action, it can happen to you guys, of course, able to hoist the trophy again, the NBA's beloved pop bottle in the locker room session that's always caught on camera. So next, of course, now being that you've finished the off season, the NBA's off season. What is next for Duke Air Force Base?
This is our off season.
Okay.
This is we start in mid-August preparing for our Labor Day tournament, and we run through May. So this month is definitely time off for everybody. This one I tell the guys, get away from it, relax, rest up. Put that FaceTime in with your families. Do the trips. Take the kids, do the things with the wives that you've been missing out on. Take care of your bodies. If you need to get the MRIs done, let's do that now. And now probably about mid-July, I'll start getting the itch again, and that's when I'll get in the gym and start working with some guys. A lot of my younger guys going through drills, helping to prepare them for next season. And then mid-August, I'll hold tryouts and we get ready to do it again.
Okay. Will any of you, or will yourself or any other players, be playing in the AUSA Battle of the Crest?
Oh no, they say this is our off season.
Okay.
We won't be participating in that one. I know that's Wayne Walcott puts on a great event down there. I know Timo is heavily involved in that. Heard great things. ESPN3, right? Big time. So and during our tournament here in NBA Finals, you heard a lot of teams preparing to take that journey and head down to Florida. I believe Langley will be there. Last time I talked to Coach Green, I know she mentioned
Correct.
it. They'll be there, right? So that should be a hell of a contest. But I'll be watching that one on my couch with my feet propped up.
Of course, it is. Everyone, of course, is going to be looking forward to that going into it. So, cutting down the nets again, of course, you see the
Hmm.
hat, the ring, everything, the necklace, the net around it. What was that? Of course, you've done it before, but was this
Hmm.
one, was it the same feeling, or did you see this,
No,
was this one greater?
this
No.
this one was different because not only when you do things more than once, it hits harder. Because people always say, well, anybody can do it once, so let's do it again, and that really means something. And also, military basketball, it's very hard to have your full roster, your
Mm-hmm.
top 12. And this tournament was incredibly challenging for us because, I didn't have my, all USA guy, Darian Donald,
Mm-hmm.
my 6 man a year, Draylon Perkins, um, all Air Force camp invitee should be, and also my starting point guard, Shaman Walker. Those are three big losses for us, but that's what we preach. That's what having a program is all about, being able to build and groom your players to step up in those next roles. And before we left, good friend of mine, Coach Jeff Swindell down there at Yuma, he brought his team in for an impromptu game, and that
Mm-hmm.
really helped us because I knew I was going to be missing bodies, and I really did need that game to
Mm-hmm.
sort of work on the rotations and get a feel for what I would do. Contingency plans is all coaches have to do in our head. What happens if this guy gets hurt? What happens if he's in foul trouble? How do we look playing big? How do we look playing small? All those sort of things. So this was more of a testament to our program more than anything. This was a program championship to prove that what we've done over the past 3 years really does work. That's what this championship was all about.
So, any, not, you just said in the past 3 years, of course.
Hmm.
Uh, how much longer can we see Luke as one of those top teams in the NBA to where it's going to be? Is this the beginning? I mean, I guess it's hard to say a dynasty in the case because it's a military installation. Of course, you are predicated, stand strong on the peer team aspect, which means only individuals, active duty service members that that play for you. How has it been a tough slate of things when you look at that, like, because you say you're not, you go with active duty service members only, you deal with the peer program aspect. Does it get tougher over the years, or have you been, from your coaching prowess, just been able to continue to build mentor, and build teams to where next man up is a key moniker?
It's definitely tough. Like I said, this tournament proves that. When you're losing probably your two your better players, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you're starting point guard. I was thinking yesterday. When I looked around the locker room, only one guy that's still here is here originally when I took over, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's my point guard. That's my leader, Bradley Boyd. And even he left to go to a year in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a challenge, right? But to me, that's what coaching is all about. It's all about taking a guy like a Vinny Ortega,
Mm-hmm.
who when he first got here, was a deep reserve on the first NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he touched the floor in a championship game.
Mm-hmm.
That was his role at the time. To see a guy like that go from that to now winning, player of the game, MVP of the game. That's what having a program is all about: developing, mentoring on and off the court, and building your players up. Because they're all going to have a skill set. So it's like, what can you do as a coach to get the most out of them? And that's what we've been able to do here. That's what I plan on continuing to do for as long as I'm here. Obviously, you're not going to win every game. You're not going to win every championship. That's just the reality of sports, right?
Yes.
If you are able to do that, then you're in the wrong league.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to continue to do what we do. not one of those fat mouthing type of cats. I stay humble. I respect everybody and every other program out there. I'm not here to detract from what anyone else has done, but I believe in what we've done, over the past 3 years. And I'm just going to continue to keep trying to build off that.
So that makes 2 NBA championships, correct?
Yes.
Countless conference championships.
Eastern and Western Conference now. The only team to be able to do that so far.
Eastern and Western Conference in the NBA. Now the 2-time NBA champion.
Texas is next. We got to go down there to Texas. We have to, made it to the Final Four this year. Lost out to a great JBL team. That team is full of dogs right there. Like I said, great coach, great guards. You got the vet Lou there. The big man in the middle, and Goldsmith and Brandon Parker and June. The shooter, don't know young fella's name. Great team. Lost to them in double overtime. So yeah, we still need to get that thing done down in Texas as well.
That's the only thing that's eluding you right now, huh?
Right.
What's
Right.
good,
Want to get that
Africa?
one.
What's good, man? Hope you're doing over there across the waters, brother. What's going on? So, Coach, of course, a couple of things. Congratulations, you say. So you get your game taken care of. You take care of business on your end. You were down in Wichita, I believe, when first and foremost we was talking about before you tapped in the debacle. I guess you call it a debacle. I don't know. The unfortunate situation for Miami, who we thought was going to take care of business in Game 6. Of course, I was talking with BJ, basically the basic box out in which Derek White was able to beat Max Strus to the cup to get the tip in. That shouldn't have happened. I know Bam was upset because he's trying to get he's looking at boxes out Jason Tatum, thinking that they were good. And then of course from the backside, Derek White comes in, tips in with 0.2 seconds remaining, and now we got a Game 7. That moment, right? In that moment, as a coach, seeing that, what went through your head just as a coach seeing that?
Well, the most dangerous man on a lot of plays is the guy inbounding the ball. Nobody covered Derek White. Derek White threw the ball in and had a free run. It's honestly like they forgot about him, which I'm sure was some type of mix up in communication because this is the highest level. So they forgot about him, and he was able to get that free run to the basket. So I'm sure that was a mental lapse on someone's part. But it just goes to show, even at the highest levels, the highest basketball IQs, things do happen. Mistakes are made, and I think that was an obvious mistake. That was a great game. But then yesterday you come out and Boston just doesn't show up.
At all.
The coach for Boston, obviously he's a hell of a coach, right? NBA coaches, those guys all are great. But at some point in time, about 3-4 minutes into that game, I was, thinking, I'm like, I wonder if you could tell NBA guys to stop shooting threes and run a little offense. You might not be able to tell NBA guys to do that, but I felt like that was something he really needed to say yesterday. And Jaylen Brown, sometimes I think he gets a little bit ahead of himself and tries to do too much. I feel like Jaylen Brown is a great complimentary player, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with being 1B. There is, man, you need them guys. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes he tries to do a little bit too much. We saw it last year in the finals, and he did it again last night with eight turnovers.
Of course, like you talk about Jaylen Brown, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, but 8 turnovers. Very, very, very detrimental in a sense when you one man who was handling the ball the predominantly most of the time is getting 8 turnovers. Derek White, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on his own. Marcus Smart, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 8 points from Robert Williams III. Malcolm Brogdon logged some minutes, only 7 minutes, but didn't really do anything with a minus on a plus or minus. Jason Tatum, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Horford 8 points. Grant Williams 3 points. And then Mike Muscola with 3 points on the night. For Jimmy Butler and company, Jimmy Butler
Mhm.
with 28 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover. Very proficient, extremely proficient. 26 points from Caleb Martin, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Bam Adebayo, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. 10 points apiece from Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson. Robinson with 11, 1 point. I mean, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals. Vincent 1 rebound, 4 assists. Kyle Lowry 7 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Not bad, but of course you would expect more from Lowry. Haywood Highsmith 2 points on the night, 8 points for Max Strus, 5 rebounds on the night. So when you look at that, Jimmy Butler
Mhm.
and company,
Mhm.
the emergence of course, we say the names Max Strus, Gabe Vincent. We kind of knew Duncan Robinson for the most part because he was there 2 years ago. However, it seems like he's been benched for 2 years. And then
Right.
of course Caleb Martin coming in and showing up. What do you say about for a team like that looking going into a series versus Nikola Jokic and company? What is Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think when you talk about heat culture, I think heat culture sort of
Heat culture. Okay.
goes to what we do, in the military a lot, right?
Okay.
Because they obviously have a system. Now I think Denver is going to beat them 4-2, right?
Okay.
But they obviously have a system and a belief there with Coach Spo, and it really is a next man up thing. They
Mm-hmm.
have a certain style that they play,
Mm-hmm.
a certain brand of defense that they display, a lot of boxes and elbows. I believe that they get wider than most teams in the NBA. Their gap control is always, on point,
Mm-hmm.
and they just have a belief in their system. And they're one of those teams that sort of develops, those guys on the bench for these roles, like a Max Strus, like a Caleb Martin. I mean, that dude almost won damn, MVP. If
Correct.
it wasn't for Jimmy, if Jimmy doesn't have the game that he has on Sunday, I think Caleb Martin wins, the
The
Eastern Conference,
MVP.
MVP.
Correct.
So there's definitely a belief there, and and that starts with Coach Spo. He's the head of the snake there. Obviously, a great coach, and it's something they do down there where he instills confidence in his players. And you see it a lot of times in NBA, and everybody says next man up, but it's not the case a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
When a player gets hurt, that team is short wired and they're done. But Miami really does have that next man up stuff, which is scary, and they're confident.
Yes,
They're very confident, very, and that's a scary thing.
and because you gotta think about when you look at it from an aspect of the mental aspect of it. You're up 3-0, and like Boston said, it was said by Jason Tatum. We don't have anything to worry about. The pressure isn't on us in state. Like at the point at which anyone's down 3-0, as we've seen it 100 and now 151 times, no one has came back and been victorious to win a series after being down 3-0 in NBA basketball. You've had
Right.
4 teams have attempted it, still yet no one has accomplished it. So the mental fortitude it take to saying to basically tell yourself we're good. Because obviously you gotta think, honestly, I'm very sure they've been playing telling themselves they were good since losing game 4. Oh, we're good.
Hmm.
You don't have nothing to worry about. Game 5. Okay, we're good. Game 6, heartbreaker as we talked about. On a simple, a basic play to where the simplest of box out is all you need to box out. Like Coach said,
Right.
forgot that White inbounded the ball, free unabated run to the rim. The ball came off where it needed to, and he was there. Zero point 0.2 seconds put in the same sent it to the game, but then to come back into Boston and have to work and basically take care of business in grand fashion, walking away with an 18-point victory in a closeout game. I know you said Denver 4-2, but do you think in any way, form, or fashion do we have a series
Oh
in the
yeah.
before it even get started?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely going to be a dogfight. I think Denver is going to win because I just believe in what Joker and Murray are doing right now. I feel like they have the bodies to deal with Miami. And I don't think Miami has anyone to match up with Joker. I mean, no one really does. But
Mm-hmm.
we saw what he did to Anthony Davis. And as hard as Ben works down there, he's undersized. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Joker's gonna lean on him. And I feel like they have some bodies. I was pretty sure he'll probably start out with KCP on
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron Gordon get that
Mm.
assignment at some point in time in that series. That's what
Basically
I'm thinking.
basically run everybody at Jimmy, kind of
I that's
make them other
that
players work again. Another series
right,
where your role players got to be you want to have a chance, because nobody ain't gonna say you can't beat. You want to have a chance. Your role players gonna have to do it because
right. And I'm attacking Caleb Martin as much as I can too. But
Mhm.
Mike Malone's a hell of a coach. They play good defense. Now they're only gonna play 7 or 8,
Yeah.
which sometimes makes your life easier. I know one game they only played 7, so they
Hmm.
keep it real tight down there. But it's gonna be a hell of a series, and I can't wait for our Thursday night for it to start.
And see, so it's something that you just said, Coach. That made me think. You just said it's hard to beat that dribble handoff 2-man game between
Mhm.
Jokic and Jamal. But would that be enough? I mean, I guess so. It's been enough, huh? Because they relied on KCP, of course. The game closeout game versus the Lakers. No one thought Aaron Gordon was going to drop 20 plus.
Mhm.
In which that's how they've been kind of getting by. You've had these players, Brown, that comes in, gets his numbers that you don't expect. Um,
He's
then
tough.
you look at the fact of we just talked about Aaron Gordon, Ken Chavis, Caldwell Pope, Jamal Murray, Jokic, Bruce Brown. We ain't even mentioned Michael Porter Jr.,
Right.
who tends to be their third option. Uh, that's it in what you just said. Say a 7 to 8 man rotation where I don't even worry about the rest of the players on the bench. This is what I'm going with right here, and hopefully, if I bring this other person off the bench, they're going to take care of business. Can Miami really match up with that?
Yes, they can. Like I said, because one thing you can make up a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
just by playing with a certain level of intensity and energy. Energy is, I feel, is like the most important thing to have on a basketball court. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have great energy, you can overcome anything. We've seen it before in the finals with that Dallas Mavericks team.
Correct.
So it definitely can be done. That's why I think it's going to be 4-2, but I think it's going to be a hell of a 4-2 series.
Mm-hmm.
Would it surprise me if it went 7? No, I wouldn't be shocked at all because Miami's going to be prepared. There's a lot of time off in the NBA Finals. They might be a little sluggish this first day, because they'll probably travel today. Then you got to play Thursday, so you really only get one day to prepare. But I'm sure the advanced scouts already got everything ready to go for the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But as the series goes on, and you get the 2 days off, and then the travel days, everybody get their legs back under them. So it's going to be a great series.
And like you just said, is of course ideally Denver. I
4-0
mean,
Denver, huh?
if that guy, don't even listen to that guy. He's a Minnesota Vikings fan, so
Okay, all right.
yeah. So what's going on, Eric? What's going on, fam? I'm glad to have you embracing Coach Cal. What's good, bro? Of course, I'm always in your comments, man. Checking your comments. Coach Cal said you eating up all the awards like Pac-Man this year.
Oh boy, it has been a good year.
So we, like you just said, talking about that, Miami was like they already made their arrangements, as you talk about the film room team making doing what they got to do to prepare for the coaches. Uh, I know, man. I don't know, but I know. I'm sorry. I stand corrected, bro. I stand corrected. Go Skull. Um, but they were very confident, already making the precaution taken, doing everything, reserving their flights after the Boston game to go ahead fly straight to Denver after the game. Um,
Smart.
that bravado, of course, knowing that it's like no reason going back home. We just gonna go straight to Denver. Probably get acclimated to what they're going to have to deal with the first two games. The first two games being the first and the fourth. By the 18th, we should, if it's goes 7, we'll know on the 18th of June who is the new NBA champion, or maybe we get a glimpse of that a little before that. Any case, so transition a little bit, right? College, I mean not college. With we started out this off season, so to speak, with four coaching positions open. That being
Mhm.
Houston, Milwaukee, Philly later in the season, and
Right.
and then what was the other one? Philly, Houston, Philly, Milwaukee,
Phoenix.
oh Phoenix, yeah, Phoenix and Toronto.
Mhm.
Hold on, which Coach Cal say? Should be 4-0 Denver, but I'll give them one say legitimate sweep due to the distractions in Miami. uh, I don't think 4-0, Coach. I don't think 4-0. I think they
Nah,
got too much.
definitely not
They
for.
got too much grit in Miami for it to be 4-0. But I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I didn't think we was going. I didn't think, like Coach said, Jokic. At some point, AD was like, "What do you want me to do? What can I do?" Like I can't. This dude with this left foot, uh,
Step back,
step
floaters.
back, floated from 26 feet out. Like, what can I do? In a high arc. But like I was saying, for those positions, Toronto, Philly, Houston, Phoenix, and Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Now, three of those five positions filled, as we know, Emi Adoke is now the head coach for the Houston Rockets, in which we were talking
Right.
about that. Um, now, Coach Nurse,
Mhm.
head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, and unlikely one, Adrian Griffin, the head coach for Toronto Raptors.
Right.
What do you think about those hires as a coach when you look at that?
Griffin, I think it is good. He's been on the radar for a while. I know when we had him in Chicago, he was, I believe, one of the lead assistants. So I think that's good. Breath of fresh air for those guys. Udoka, I think that's really what they need in Houston because they don't play a lick of defense.
Mm.
So at least now we know that they will defend. And Nurse is one of my favorite coaches.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, I like Nick Nurse because he's one of the few NBA coaches where he's constantly changing defenses. And he'll box it 1, 2 plays. Next thing you know, it's a 2-3. Next thing you know, you might get a 3-2 look. I really do like what he does on the defensive end of the court. But in Philly, I don't know if those switching type of defenses is going to mesh with Embiid. Also, if you remember during the season, Embiid um, in a post game comment said that Nick Nurse cries too much for calls. So
Correct.
I'm sure they'll have to, get over that little comment right there, which I'm sure won't be difficult. Me personally, I think the best job opening, if I would have been a coach and had my choice of all those jobs,
Uh huh.
I probably would have stayed here in Phoenix because I think it's the best place to live.
Okay.
But Milwaukee probably would have been the most stable place to go.
You really
And
think
then
so?
I really do because you still got the Greek there. You still have Drew. Looks like they're
Mm.
gonna bring back
Middleton
Lopez
and
and
Middleton.
Middleton, so that the formation is already there.
Okay.
Phoenix has, you got the two top end guys. What can you get out of Aiton? I would try to move on from Chris Paul. I know only like $15 million of his contract is guaranteed for next season. I would try to move on with Chris Paul, but the way the salary cap is set up, it's going to be hard for those guys to sort of, build that thing out. And that's something that we saw during the season, especially in the playoffs when guys went down. And, they're one of those put together teams versus what we talk about like Miami Heat, right? Where you have a
Hmm.
culture and you have a system. So, it's going to be hard for them to find those key pieces and build that depth that they're going to need. They don't need a lot of depth, but they're going to need a little bit of it. But I have a feeling if he knew everything was going to shake out the way it did, he might have held out a little bit longer. But hey, when you get an NBA coaching job offer, I think you
Oh
probably
yeah,
got to
because he
take it.
was quick at it. He didn't even. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was quick. He
yeah.
was quick on the draw. Before it's like the season had just ended and they signed him. Coach Cal says former past player, defensive mindset. Of course, Adrian Griffin. Don't know if
Hmm.
defense is particularly their weakness, but it doesn't hurt. Bucks need to clean up their offensive sets. It's just rarely looks fluid when Giannis stops the ball in runs and from 3 point line, from the 3 point line. Uh, so now with the last two jobs there, who do you think is key candidates? As we know, I think I talked about it last week. Nick Nurse is now out the running, of course, because he's
Hmm.
taking a position. Uh, we know Mark Jackson's interviewed for a couple organizations. Maybe he gets opportunity. I know people continue to talk about Mark Jackson should have another opportunity. Um,
Hmm.
But like you said, the Phoenix, you're there in Phoenix. Matt
I've,
issue got
I've
issue, but
I don't know. I've sort of been disconnected a little bit. I just
okay,
been focusing on what we've been doing.
okay,
So I'm not up to speed like I normally am. I still know what's going on, but the last I've heard, what was the guy's name? Oh, Doc Rivers.
Doc was one of he's
Get,
one of about five
yeah,
that
I
left.
guess Doc is gaining a little momentum out here. So at the end of the day, we know how the NBA works, right? It's gonna come down to who does Kevin Durant and Devin Booker want.
Hmm.
And usually when the players make decisions, they usually make the wrong decisions. That's why you need good good leadership and management. I'm not sure if they have that there in Phoenix yet. So it's gonna be,
Mm.
these are the same guys that wanted Steve Nash to be the coach, KD. So we have to see exactly how that's gonna play out. But I would not be shocked if Doc got that job. He's a very well respected guy. Not my favorite coach. Guy, all he does is blow 3-1 leads, but he is a championship coach. I don't
Hmm.
think he ever adjusts during a series. If it works, it's gonna work. If it don't, it's gonna don't. And Doc is gonna do what Doc is gonna do. But I
Mm.
would not be surprised if he didn't get that job.
Of course, like you said, other candidates he was up against, as reported last week by Sham Charania. Additionally, also was Frank Vogel,
No.
Jordy
Mm-mm.
Fernandez, the Kings assistant, as well as Phoenix's own assistant, Kevin Young, and then, of course, Nick Nurse, who is now the Philadelphia 76ers coach. So when you look at that, it starts to, but of course, Matt Ishiba, who is the owner, I'm very sure he has a say in it because he's looking at
Yes.
who's going to be the beginning of his franchise, or who's going to start his franchise. Maybe he might wants to keep it in house. Kevin Young, that's already established, but then do you do that with a coach Hall of Fame? I don't know. Is Doc a Hall of Fame coach? Before I even say that, is Doc a potential Hall of Fame coach?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
with the Hall of Fame, soon to be Hall of Fame coach in your midst, do you um pass on that to give someone else a chance, or
Me personally, I love seeing new coaches get jobs. I,
okay.
I after you've had, 3, 4 jobs like Doc, I just like seeing new guys get jobs because I believe that all those guys can coach, as long as they have the experience, unlike the guy in Boston who I felt like was sort of rushed into the position, but most of those guys have put their time in.
Hmm.
I was hoping that even Kevin Ollie would get another a look because I think
Hmm.
Kevin Ollie's a good coach, been out for a couple years, but I don't know. I like the way he carries himself on the sideline. I think he's pretty. I think he'll be a good coach, young guy. Now sometimes we do see coaches get better with time too. It's just like playing. The more you do it, the better you can get. And I think we saw that with Mike Brown this year in Sacramento, because that
Hmm.
definitely looked like a different Mike Brown that we've seen in the
That we've
past.
seen in the past, yes.
You're right, right. But I just feel like a guy like Doc, his arrow at this point definitely isn't pointing up anymore.
Mm. And
But
so,
go
no, go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But do you want to take that risk and bring in a young coach, as we saw in Boston? A guy that's maybe not equipped. So that's the challenge there. And with all things being equal, I think from an ownership point of view, that's when you lean toward the veteran guy, especially when you have KD and Booker. So
You don't want
we're
to
not
rush.
building anything here. We're trying to win championships. This isn't a 2, 3 year plan. This is a 2024 NBA championship type plan. So with that being said, that's when I think they'll probably lean toward more of a veteran guy, no matter who the selection is.
So of course, you as a GM or the owner, you're looking at who your roster is, what
Right.
the how much you got on that, how much time frame you got, how much tread you got on that tires is like even this is a win now or a rebuild, and
Hmm.
you're like okay. So of course, like Coach Cal says, Mark Jackson. What do you think is up with Mark Jackson? He said he gets too much shout outs to still be on the other opposite side of the sideline.
I
Uh,
think people talk. I think guys like Steph will always say the right things in public,
okay.
but I think when teams reach out and talk to those guys, okay, off the books,
Hmm.
what was going on with 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 um with with Mark Jackson. I don't think the reviews are very flattering.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what he did. I know he kicked the logo out of practice one time. I do know that when he was the head coach, the Warriors led the NBA in isolation plays.
Hmm.
His last year as a coach. So there's some questions about his style. Um, So I think that's what's going on because it's very rare to see a guy, especially in the NBA. NBA coaches, they come they in and out like a dime a dozen, right?
Hmm.
So usually you've had some amount of success. You're gonna get, another look. And for him not to get another look, that's always told me that I think some things are being said off the books.
Mm.
A lot of teams like Golden State, they're gonna take the high road in public, but when you call them up and really like, hey bro,
What are
what's
the
good with this
reasons
guy
here?
for real?
Yeah.
I think what they're saying isn't flattering, and I think what they're saying isn't flattering and has been validated.
Mm.
And I think there's some concerns there, about Mark Jackson, and that's why he hasn't gotten another chance.
Mm.
That's just my opinion from the outside looking in, why he hasn't gotten another look yet.
Or basically, of course, and then you want to get when you look at it, you want to recycle some of these coaches for the most part. So many times you got the Van Gundys have been recycled a couple of times, and then of course they
Yeah,
fall off. Although maybe Stan should have still been in New Orleans, but of course they wanted to give someone else a look, and I'm very sure it comes with that. Like at some point you want to look at what the new blood that's out there and start to bring them in because you want to get them developed. Coach Walcott says pair strong minded and religion and get a recipe for a culture that's not conducive in today's generation.
I think it's more than that, Wayne. I really do. I don't think it's so much the religious piece. You heard he tried to force religion
Mm-hmm.
on his players, which I don't know if that's true or not. But I think it's more than that, though, brother. I really do. I think it's more than just a strong-minded, religious piece. I really do. There were some behind the scenes rumblings, like say how you talk to people. When you kicking people like Jerry West out of practice. Why the hell you kicking Jerry West out of practice? So I think there's more to that. And like I said, scheme wise, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was like special.
Mm-hmm.
He was all right. So I don't, he didn't do nothing groundbreaker. Like I said, they led the NBA in ISO plays. Has he changed his philosophy? To more of a ball movement, we share the thing type of thing over here. So we'll see. But I just think it's something going on with Mark Jackson besides what's right up here on the surface.
Mm,
But
okay.
hey, I could be completely wrong.
Stars like to be in control. It was his way of or the highway. It's a
Mhm.
star-driven league, so yes, his mentality is an issue. That was okay. That's what he's saying. Basically, his star is player-driven league. So him trying to
Definitely a
not,
player-driven league. If you don't get along with them dudes, they will just go straight upstairs and be like either him or me, and you know who they're gonna choose there. So
yeah, the money is going to all who brings in whose box office. Uh, so going to some of the comments after we just said, of course, the beloved
mhm.
LeBron, saying LA, we gonna get back in there. Of course, we have looking just like any other team or look to the other teams looking at some things. So let's get into like we just said, player driven league. Let's talk about some of the players. First and foremost,
Mhm.
first up, LeBron James
Mhm.
says he is still better than 90% of the league, maybe even 95%.
Mhm. Cap.
Hearing that, I was about to ask you, is it
Uh,
cat? Do you think it's cat?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's okay. He should feel that way. It's okay for a player to feel that way. I wouldn't expect for a guy as great as LeBron James to think any different. He didn't get to be where he is by selling himself short. So that's okay for him to feel that way. But you know how LeBron James is. After the loss, he always sort of shifts things. The whole I might retire, bro. You're not going anywhere. Your plan has been to play with your son, and you're going to see that through. I think he plays one season with his son, and then he steps away.
Mhm.
But he's definitely not going anywhere right now. Definitely not.
Wayne said he gonna go before this goes sideways. He's like, "Oh my God, shaking my head. I'm going to go before this goes sideways." This is Coach P's day.
Yeah, I know Wayne a big LeBron guy too.
And so, of course, he's going to say that. Like you just said, we expect that. That's the expectation is to get that rhetoric from him. But does it have legs? Can he say if you was to put a percentage of him just from your ask with your thought coach, where would you say his percentage lies as him being better than a percentage of league? If we had to simply say, okay, LeBron, you say he's not 90%, what would you give him?
75 to 80.
Mm, wow,
And when
that's
I what and I don't think that's a slight
okay.
when you consider his age, but also take into account too being able to play. every game. I know that's not a thing in the NBA anymore, but I'm old school like that.
Hmm.
So can he play every game, and can he play consistently at a high level every game? Because we even saw during these playoffs here that he would wear down. Even
Hmm.
that their last game came out
Hmm.
very strong.
Yeah, but
And
of
then you
course,
could
you
you could
want
watch
them.
him wear down. And when you're 38, I think that's gonna happen to you. Next year it's only gonna right. So I don't believe that. But once, like I said earlier, though, it's okay for him to say that. I don't
Mhm.
think the Lakers are gonna win another championship. I don't think he's gonna win another championship, and that's okay with me too. So if he finishes second in the GOAT debate, yeah, we're not gonna get offline. We can say that for the summer, but yeah, because we all know who number one is. But like I said, we can say that for the summer. We're not even gonna get into that today. That's another show. I'm trying to stay focused right now. That's another show. And I can see you over there, and I can see the wheels turning. But
But
so
so I completely understand. Like everyone, like a lot of people say, he's not even think about some of the players in the league that he's not their he's their goat. He's not
mhm.
some of their goats. And it's a very selective and subjective conversation. What's good, Commissioner Myers? Glad to have you formation with us. How you doing? How you doing there? So it's a very subjective conversation. So it's in any case, I can say that he is a goat. I would say that Michael Magic. I mean, not Magic. Well, Magic's a goat too, in my opinion. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, maybe not. I got to find a different term because when we say goat, we're talking about greatest of all time. So I mean, it's levels to it. We're sure. I think there's greatest in their era. Um,
Hmm.
Jordan had his era. Magic and Bird had their era. Kobe had an era. Uh, LeBron has the last era, and I think has been in his has had his era, and I even think you add Steph. Steph has an era, so
Hmm.
I start to wonder who's going to be the next era. Who's that person that's next? Who are they handing the keys of the league to as LeBron and Steph go on their merry way? Like who's next up? And that's where I think that's where the real conversation starts to be had at because these other guys is like made men in the organization of the NBA. They're made men. They're good. Who's
Right.
their next? Who's the next person? And I think that's where the conversation starts to come
That's
at.
a very tough question. I've talked about this. Guys, me and my sports group, we go back and forth with this. For a while, it was Jason Tatum. We were sort of leaning that way, but now it's like
Jason
I
Tatum.
don't, I'm not sure, right? I think we're gonna have a gap because let's say LeBron did retire right now. Usually, there was always that next player. Let's say LeBron retired right now. Who's the best player in the NBA?
Steph.
Greek, Steph,
Oh, okay, yeah,
Joker,
Greek. Okay,
right?
yeah,
So
true that.
could we have a Greek era? Could there be a era of Giannis? Does he stay in Milwaukee or does he do like we've seen so many times and leave Milwaukee in a year or two or force his way and come to the Chicago Bulls and build the next dynasty in Chicago? Yeah, I'm putting that out there right now. So, hey, thanks,
So,
Commish. Could that happen? I don't know, but that's a great question. It's a great question.
but even you know what with those names you just said, and one I think was left out of there. But in state, all those names of what you just said, mine and Steph, are all foreign players. Had we've had that, has there been an era of a dominant foreign player to where we look at that's the face of the NBA is a foreign player? You just said Jokic, you said Giannis.
Hmm.
Um, Luca is still out there. Those have been some of the ones in which they have said. So, is there a point to where that like you said, a gap? Does that gap become a Luca, a Giannis, or a Jokic, in which it doesn't seem too
It,
far off at this point?
it possibly could happen. I don't think it'd be as long as a run, but it could happen. Luca just needs to learn how to play with other people and like
Mhm.
at least pretend to play defense every
You
now and
still
then
you
and
think you
start.
think he still has something to unlock? He hasn't even unlocked it yet.
Yes, yes, I really do. I think there's another level for him to get to, but he's still a young cat. I'm going to say plenty of time because every game counts. But
Correct.
he's still young enough to when he hits 27, 26, 27, it's like he can all, and he can really even go to another level. So that could happen. Here A fun exercise I did about a month ago, just because that's just how my brain works. I just
Mm-hmm.
wrote down the top 12 players I thought there was in NBA, and then I wrote down like the top 12 like foreign-born players. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell you what, I think that would be a hell of a game. I've always said the past couple years All-Star game. I think we should do America versus the world,
Mm-hmm.
and just think Embiid would be on that team versus the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a hell of a game. It really would, because Jamal Murray, Canadian. I mean, I think that would be a hell of a format, to see. So yeah, but we do need the American players to step up here, and sort of reclaim what's ours.
So interesting enough, Commissioner Myers asked a question in which I asked earlier, uh, in which you can enact that question and ask her for him. Is Luke team a dynasty? We were just speaking about that when we talk about the program built off of. So when we talk about that dynasties,
No, I
programs,
don't I don't put labels on anything. I'll allow
okay,
other people to do that. We're just going to keep on doing what it is that we try to do. Because once you start labeling yourself, it's like people that call themselves great or say I'm the greatest player ever. I feel like that's disrespectful, and only karma's is going to work out against you. So I would never say we're a dynasty. One day when it's all said and done, and we sit back and the Coach P era ends one day in the next year or two, you know that'll be for other people to decide. I'm not
mm-hmm.
going to say that. I'm just going to continue to say I'm very proud of what we've done over the past 3 years. Do I feel like we're the premier program in military basketball over the past 3 years? Yes, I do stand that, feel that way. But, and that's not disrespectful to anybody else. That's just how I feel. But as far as dynasties, long, long way to go for,
So
to
of
even
course,
get in that conversation.
you get the love from your fellow people who've graced sidelines. Of course, Coach Cal saying yes, it's a dynasty. I asked the question. Of course, I asked it to you. Of course, they can hear the question. They feel free to answer. But what is a dynasty? What enacts a dynasty? So because you said no, you're not a dynasty, and we understand it can be hard because, like I
Hmm.
was, what we talked about earlier, is hard due to the fact of you get players that come in and out. So it's
Hmm.
more, I would say, are you a dynasty coach? Because you're, for the most part, you become the driving force behind that and able to pull up, like you said, your player who got player of the game or the finals, MVP of
Right.
the finals 3 years ago. He wasn't even getting time on your floor.
Hmm.
Now he's been in that, he's been raised to where he this shining moment, and he was there. Coach Meyer says dynasties is rings. What is dynasty? What makes a dynasty in your opinion?
I think it's just sustained success
Okay.
over a period of time. Like the Bulls dynasty, and what the Lakers did, and what the Celtics were able to do. I just feel like that's over a point in time. And being able to, like I say, you won't win everything, you won't win every game, you won't win every tournament. Hell, you might go a year without winning a tournament and
Mm-hmm.
still have a very successful season. Like I've talked to other coaches about, it's a process. You might not win the first year. I can remember the first couple years, going to tournaments, going on three,
Mm-hmm.
going to nationals and losing 3 games by average of 24 doggone points, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, those type of things. So it's a process to all this stuff. Depends on what base you're at in the teams. Some bases are bigger, so they have more of a talent pool. I can't win one game without talented players. As much as I preach and say what I say. I'm not making one jump shot. Don't have to make one closeout. So hopefully I continue to get the players here that's willing to buy in. We continue to work hard and try to sustain success. And I have to go here shortly in a little bit, because I
Yes,
guess
sir.
these people be like, I got to earn my keep until I get a college
Okay.
job, but I can do this full time. But I just
Uh-huh.
want to talk about my players over the past
Okay.
weekend. Like I said, I was very proud of them, starting with my point guard, Brad Boyd, great leader on my team. A guy that, I've been able to play in every position. He came off the bench this year, and that's the heart and soul of our team. That that is the heart and soul of Luke basketball. Then I go to Vinny, my shooting guard. We talked about him, where
Mm-hmm.
he's come from. Mike Morales. Mike Morales is just a hardworking guy, gets it out the mud. Tyrell Mosley started at the four for me. He won the Teammate of the Year award here at Luke, and that's the type of guy he is. He can play 5 minutes, he'll play 25 minutes. He might not play a damn game, but he's still gonna give you that energy. And Ian Sutton, who quietly is one of the better big men in military basketball. He really has had 30 points that championship game. Coming off the bench, maybe was Desmond Epps, who I can play Des about 1 through 4. And he had a very good tournament, really stepped up, especially leadership. Said some things before the game that I think the team really needed to hear. Eric Smith, a very young guy. Um, he's that guy that in 2 years from now, hopefully we're able to do this. He's that next Vinny, right? But
Mhm.
he was able to get some exposure. Rohan Brett, big man, sort of new to this thing as well. And him and Malik Rawls got him from Osan. He's another guy that's in the pipeline now. So those guys, hopefully, we'll get. But we know Donald will be coming back. And Shaman Walker will be coming back, and all the guys. And I just want to give props to not only those guys, but the guys that was here in the gym with us that knew they weren't going to make the trips, because when we go on trips, only going to take a certain amount.
Mhm.
But if you're part of the team, you're part of the program, the expectation is that you're still in there practicing, because you still have to help your teammates prepare, right? Because iron sharpens iron. So those guys that stayed back knew that they weren't coming on the trip, still came in the gym, still worked, nothing but respect for those guys as well. So, even though they weren't part of that trip, they're part of this championship. My managers, the young ladies you see on the sideline helping me out with the stats, with the logistics. Diana Turner was able to make the trip with us. They are. Leanna Cole is another mainstay. She was down in Texas with us. They do a lot for this. So this is for them too. And my gym lead, Mr. Bingham, he helps a lot. He does what he can. We don't get the support that we want. We don't get the support that I think we deserve. I want to be clear about that. But I know he does help as much as he can. So when you win things, it's everybody. Is everybody involved, and I appreciate that. I don't take it lightly, and I want to try to just get some recognition for my guys at this base for what they've done, because I feel like they've been outstanding. And like I said, they do it the right way, and we work hard, and that's what we're going to continue to do here at Luke. I might be only doing this another 1 or 2 years. I still
Mhm.
have some coaching things I want to accomplish.
Mhm.
I definitely want to do some things on the all arm services um, side of the house. I'm once again, I'm never here to take away from anybody, but I definitely feel like I've done enough to, sit at that table. I just want to be a part of that. I want to help the Air Force get back to, where I feel like we should be. The Army, you know, had a doggone good run there. And, I want to do everything in my power to put an end to that. I will say that. I want to do everything in my power to put an end to that run. Not saying it's gonna happen, but damn it, I damn sure want to try, for sure, because I can't have Lakeem Eccles walking around here with no more gold medals. That's my guy. That's why I say that to him. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I just want to enjoy this, very humbly, and I'm just grateful that we were continuing to have the success. And I do want to say, I know Mike Myers is on here. If Mike Richards isn't out there listening, I feel like this was the best nationals and NBA finals that I've been a part of. They're different, that's okay. But the format change of nationals I thought was great.
Mhm.
I love nationals, and I like the barbecue, outside. I like the DJ in the corner. You guys were down there. You got the two gyms. It's they're smaller. It's more compact. It's a different vibe. You get to see different teams. Different talent level, and that's cool. But then the NBA Finals, I thought having, as I mentioned earlier, all those teams, in the big facility where you only had your game, but I spent the whole day in the gym just watching everybody, and then playing in the practice facilities, and then being on direct TV. Like I said, that's a game changer for military basketball. So I thought both those guys, what they've done this year, to continue to push military basketball in the forefront, please keep doing that because the airmen, the soldiers, the Marine, the seamen, that's what they deserve. So please keep on doing that. I know Wayne is trying to do his piece down there, with what he does with the AAU tournament. So him too. Keep doing what you're doing. Everybody that's trying to promote military basketball, including you guys here on your show. That's what we need, man, because we need to get this to a point to where, these guys are taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that in a financial way. We have to do everything we can to help alleviate some of this that every team goes through, not just my team. I'm sure every team goes through these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we have to do. And like I said, those two guys are sort of the forefront there. I know every now and then, they have their differences. And, I just want to see those guys continue. Maybe if they're not working together, sometimes, just sort of make sure that what they're doing doesn't conflict with each other so no
Mm-hmm.
one gets hurt. Because what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing both is a great thing.
Correct.
They're both very important in military basketball. So let's just keep doing that, right? Let's just keep doing that. And I look forward to getting back out there next year. We have to get ready for our Labor Day tournament. That's a tournament we've never won. My guy, Coach Ty, up there at Fort Carson, they've won that damn thing twice. He probably thinks it's his tournament. So that's the next challenge for Luke basketball, getting ready for next season and seeing if we can sustain this. I look forward to it. I'm going to do what I do over the summer, sort of regroup, try to get a little bit better, learn a little bit more. Had the opportunity to spend a year with David Grace, very accomplished coach. You in the
Mm-hmm.
gym with a D1 coach, you can't help but learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to sitting down, chopping it up, talking to some of my peers. Great group of coaches out here in the Pac West with my guy up there at Pendleton, and Navy has a great coach, and I like Yuma's coach, and you got the other Mike Richardson out here.
Mm-hmm.
Dale Miller down there in DM. We have some real good coaches, and I think going through our regular season always helps prepare us
And,
because it's
and
it's
y'all on the
always hard.
West, and that's
Right.
another part. You're on the West, so it seems like
Mhm.
what's going on, my trusty cohort. How you doing there, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's going
What's
on?
going
What's
on,
going on?
Bishop?
What's going on, Coach P? I see you got the net all around your neck,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
That means something to me. That means somebody done took home some hardware this
Right.
past weekend. So I see it looks good on you, man. It looks good on you. You
Appreciate
could have
it.
did it without a
I,
shirt, and it would have even looked better.
hey, I thought about it. I might wear it all day. I don't know how the people in the office gonna feel about it, but this
Hey,
the energy I'm on today.
tell them you on one today. Let them have,
Yeah,
let them
and
be mad at you today. It's good.
hey, hat cocked to the side, everything. Hey, they
Everything,
just gonna
man.
have to deal with
Hey,
it today. They're gonna have
everything,
to
man.
deal with it.
Do with it, man. Let them deal with it. Well, congratulations, man, to your team, Coach P. Man, I'm excited for you. I know y'all went out there and performed and did a great job.
Mhm.
I hear you talking about great things. I was having a little technical difficulty trying to get on today. That's why I'm jumping on here late. But we had a mass storm like out here in San Antonio this week or last night. So my internet was a bit jacked up, but man, congratulations. I hear you giving mad props and great praise to the tournament itself. So I'm assuming it was a great turnout and everything just worked out in your favor and your men came out on top. So that's what's good, man. I like it. I like it. What you
Yeah,
looking forward to next?
like I said, I was saying earlier, this is my off season. I take a rest. I believe in rest.
Okay.
I'll disconnect the most I can after the finals. I came home last night,
Mhm.
took a little nap. I was watching the game. Of course, my wife is like, "Does it ever stop?" I was like, "Yeah, not really." I'm like, I need to watch this, right?
Right.
So
Got to.
I'll take
Got to.
I'll take a little rest, man. I'll go back each year. I go back. I'll assess myself.
Right.
Things
Do
I
an
think I
assessment.
did right, right.
Right.
Things I need to get better at.
Okay.
Already, can see some things that I want to work on and improve on as a coach.
Okay.
Certain things I want to do with my team to try to make us a little bit better. That starts with me.
Okay.
If I get better, I can make my team better, right?
Okay.
So, do what I can over the summer to work on myself.
Okay.
Like I said, hopefully prepare for all armed services ball. Hopefully I get that call
Okay.
and get ready for that. Prepare for that. As I said earlier, enough of the Army. Nothing against the Navy and Marines. Um, but yeah, we got to get that thing right and get back to where we need to be.
So with that being said, like you said, on the West Coast, like I was just getting ready to say, so it's hard in any aspect
Mm-hmm.
of basketball. I mean, in any aspect of anything lower than the pros is always the exposure of pro basketball or any sport for the most part, whether it be college or anything like that. So in the West, as Coach Meyer and Commissioner Myers should say, with Dave Grace's outstanding excuse me, y'all going to be great in 2024. The West is on fire, going forth with that. So I'm very sure that's a good enactment. So I had a couple of questions real quick for you,
Mm-hmm.
Coach. First and foremost, staying in basketball,
Mm-hmm.
what do you have to say with the potential, after all the money which y'all have paid out, for Lonzo Ball possibly to not be able to play basketball again?
Honestly, I saw it coming. When they started talking about replacing, ligaments and type of nerve damage in his knee, uh, unfortunately, I saw it coming. I just want to know what we can do, what type of exceptions, so we can get that damn salary off the caps here, so we can start making some moves. It won't be this year, but next summer. But it's an unfortunate incident. It is what it is. It's sports. It's just bad because we look completely different with them. And now we really don't have a point guard. Bless Pat Beverly for what he did, but I don't want to see that dude again next year. So I'm not for real. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Now, as a Bulls fan, personally, I would move off DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic.
Mm.
I would try to sign and trade both those guys.
Ooh,
I
why
really
DeMar
would.
Rosen? Why DeMar?
Because
Y'all just kind
DeMar
of
is, hey, DeMar is what, 35, 30,
is he
34,
35?
35,
Okay,
somewhere around there, right?
close.
And
Yeah,
this
he
is
been in the
his
league for a while. Yeah,
right. And this is his last year of his next year be the last year of his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And right, and I'm not giving him another 3-4 years.
Mm.
I'm not doing that.
Okay,
It's nothing personal, it's just business.
right.
I'm not doing that. And him and Zach sort of had the same skill sets. That one
Okay,
two punch works better when you have different skill sets. You
Mm-hmm.
just see
okay.
Murray and Joker, and you look back, Shaq, Kobe, Mike, Scotty, right? And you see
Mm-hmm.
it in the NBA now, is a lot of these teams go and get these guys, and we've seen it. You saw it out here in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
even though they didn't have a lot of time together. I think it's the same thing in Cleveland, where you got these guys that do the same thing. So they both aren't playing at the same time. It's more my turn, your turn versus we're in this together. And you can sort of see it in Boston every now and then. It's sort of
I was
my
just
turn,
about
your
to say.
turn.
I was about to say, isn't that the same with Boston, Jalen
Right.
Brown,
It's
and
it's
Jason
it's
Tatum?
it's sort of
Yeah.
my turn, your turn. It's not a flow. It doesn't quite fit. The way Steph and Clay, they sort of fit. So I think we have some of that with Zach and DeMar. It's nothing that they do intentionally. You seem like two solid cats, but that's my take on that. What was the next question?
Oh, I'll come to that. So if something comes up that made me think about that. So is that basically how you look to build your team, from an aspect of you look for, that's the flow in which you look for to have? You don't want players that do the same thing. You want players that all contribute in one way, which you just said earlier.
You want
You
that
don't take
chemistry, basically.
Right. Chemistry is important. I think one thing I always tell players, I'm never going to tell you to do something you can't do,
hmm
but I'm going to ask you to do something that you haven't done before.
Okay.
Right. Because especially what we do in military basketball, and say went over it this weekend, with the amount of players I had off, is that, I feel like it's very important during practice to move those bodies around. Get people to play different things. And that's what the regular season is so important for those learning curves. I put guys at point, and, a lot of guys don't want to play that point. Coach, I don't want to do this. They ain't listening. Well, you need to make them listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what's going to happen when guys go down. I'm going to need somebody to fill in those roles. So I try to have guys, adept at 2 or 3 positions. So, once you get in the tournament play and, you get the last second phone call, hey, coach, I can't go, or you get in there and heaven forbid some guys get injured, it doesn't completely, you know, short circuit your team. You still can function, and that's what building a team is all about, having that ability to the next man up. We sort of talked about the Miami model, right?
hmm
Mm-hmm.
With Tyler Hero going down, myself and man, they in trouble, but
Yeah.
they act like they ain't even need that dude.
You
hmm
You know
right.
what I mean? They
They ain't
just
skip a beat.
We
They ain't
ain't, we
skip
ain't
a
heard
beat.
nothing about them since. It's like,
We
right,
haven't. They ain't
right.
even skip a beat.
So
They didn't skip a beat
that's
at all.
that's the whole key right there.
Okay.
so what, coach? That's a
Mhm.
pretty good trophy y'all get when you, after winning the tournament. Where does that go? Does that go to the installation? Do you go ahead?
Oh no, sir, no, sir, no, no, sir, no, sir.
He said, no.
No, no, those
Hold on, hold what you got. He said, hold what you got.
those are all in my office.
Okay.
There will like I said, there will be a point in time in the next year or two here where Coach Pete hangs it up, and they will move into my man cave downstairs, and I will put a trophy case in the corner, and that's where they'll go. No disrespect to my installation, but those are mine. Now, if you are supporting us the way, right? If you are supporting us the way that I feel like we should be supported,
it'd be something different.
Recognize. If more than anything, man, recognize my guys. I'm gonna start the process today. All I want is for my guys to meet, the base general. I want them to get a coin. I want them to get a certificate of appreciation and a 1-day pass. That's all I want. That's
I like it.
That's
fair.
That's all I want. And we haven't been able to get that done here at Luke. Everything we've done, we haven't been able to get that done. And that's another reason why those trophies are in my office and not at the fitness facility. Yeah, and that's where they'll stay.
Okay. I get it. That makes sense though.
They got a couple of more opportunities to add some more hardware. Bishop, as I know, as you say, he's dealing with the technical difficulties. He still looks to add. He said there's one that's eluding him currently, and do you know what that is?
One trophy, one accomplishment that he's looking to conquer. What is that?
The NMBT.
Okay. Hey.
It probably gold as well. I'm not saying some gold.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm not mad at it.
Get the NBT, win a gold medal. I'm exiting stage left right away.
I ain't mad. That's how you go out, baby. That's how you go out. You go out on top.
I'm done.
You go out on top. You go out on top. If you can do it and knock it out, I'm with it.
But I become kind of split because say Coach Pierce is our man. But if he wins a gold, do you know what that means, Bishop?
What does that mean?
It means that Army didn't win.
Ooh, that is true.
It's nothing personal, fellas. It's just business.
That is true. I hadn't even thought about it like that. That is true.
You're saying
you a slick one there, Coach B. You a slick one there. You try to get one on over us. Okay, I got you.
It's like they win. If Coach P wins, if we have Coach P on here to talk about his gold medal, that means
the Army lost. That's right. That is so true. Can he be the one? Can he become David and slay Goliath? Can he do that?
Well,
can he be that man, Coach P?
I just want to be a part of the staff, man, and help out. So we'll see. Because Jeffrey Hammonds is their head coach over there. It'll be his second year there. He did a good job for his first year. So I just want to supplement and bring what I can to the program. So we'll see.
When is the next NMBT? When is that?
That'll be next year,
right?
Yeah,
right.
Okay. So and I'm already looking forward to getting down there to say that's it's a good time down there, man. It's a hell of a tournament. Very very challenging tournament. Very 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 hard. All of these tournaments are MBA Finals, and they're all tough. And you're always going to have that one game. Fort Riley this past weekend, we had a game. They had a last-second shot to beat us, a 3 in the corner. A guy who had been hitting all game, and when that ball was in the air, my heart stopped. Because I'm just watching it spin, and I'm like, man, that looked good. I had a nice backspin. He was wide open. I'm already mad. Like, how the hell he gets so wide open?
Why? Ready to throw the clipboard.
This guy, and I'm already thinking, okay, how far am I going to throw this chair? I'm about to throw one across this damn floor. They're gonna be like, Pete and lost his mind out here. I'm watching the spin. I'm like, boy, I'm gonna curse these sun guns out after this game. And it hit the back rim, but every tournament, you're gonna have at least one of those. You're gonna have one of those games.
It seems like, Coach, I saw the play of the weekend, I guess, where the dude shot the free throw and it got
5 seconds, 5 points in 1 second.
Yeah. And he hit that 3. I said, ooh.
5 points in 1 second. Never seen it before. Okay. We probably shouldn't have seen that because in reality, the clock was supposed to start when the ball was tipped.
When it hit the
and it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
You couldn't see that. You couldn't see that in the video.
It wasn't started to, he caught and then shot, right? So we really did have 5 points in a second. And people go, how did that happen? I'm like, well, he got fouled on the 3, hit the first free throw, hit the second free throw, missed the third on purpose, back tip catch from way downtown, bang, right? So
Woo, y'all should have submitted that to Sports Center, bro. That should have been on Sports Center. That should have been on Sports Center.
That goes with a lot of stuff because I have heard some grumblings and stuff like that in which
about that.
Well, just in general about officiating and stuff like that. I've seen some things.
You're gonna have that, bro.
We'll tomorrow. I think tomorrow
Wednesday?
we'll have NBA. Yeah, we have the NBA brass on. And then of course later in the week we're gonna have Coach Miller, who he played the CMB. He's gonna be on, and then even Wooten and Boyd is gonna be on later in the week as well. As he wants to talk about there. Commissioner Myers I spoke with yesterday. He said Wooten had actually a good tournament. As we know, Wooten was very remiss about being the 9th seed in the tournament, but that 9th seed almost became a.
They didn't embarrass themselves
Miami.
at all.
Yeah.
They played.
They almost became a Miami.
Yeah, they almost became Miami actually. So
that's good. But when it comes to the officiating, the officiating is going to be officiating. When it's all said and done, there's nothing. They're humans.
Nothing you can do about it at the end of the day.
Nothing. Thank you, Coach P. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be missed calls. Things are going to happen.
Consistency is that the only thing you can ask for? Consistency in officiating.
Yes, you can ask for consistency. Every game should be the same in regards to calls. However, things are going to get missed. It's just
I'm working on the entire game, and all I'm telling them is like, hey man, I just need y'all to be on the same page.
That's it.
It's like we a team, they a team, and y'all a team. But I'm like, right now, y'all not a team. Y'all like individuals. So can I'll be like, can y'all like get in a huddle and talk? And of course, whenever I say that, they'd be like, Coach, we got it, But that's my little thing. Like, hey, can y'all talk? Because right now, y'all calling like different games. So and it's throwing everybody off, both teams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. And I feel like that's something every coach should do before each game. Huddle up with the officials and let the officials know what you expect from them, because that's what I want. If somebody come to me when I officiate games, I want them to come to me and tell me, hey, this is what I expect from you as an official for this game, and I'm gonna try and do the best I can by officiating the game fairly all the way across the board. If I call a foul down here and the same thing happened on the other end, I'm gonna call it the same way on both ends. You know what I'm saying? But don't get it twisted. We human. We gonna make mistakes. We may miss something here and there. It's a part, even though it's 3-man mechanics, things still get missed. Well, how can y'all miss that? It's 3 of y'all. I'm telling you, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you find yourself you get caught up in the game. Yep. You get caught up in the game.
And the best thing you can say as a coach is okay. That's the best thing you say is okay.
That's it.
And when you do, that works out in your favor. Whenever they tell me, Coach, I might have missed that when I say, all right, ref. Well, hell, we missed a shot too. And when you leave it alone, it might work out for you later on.
Coach P. When it's all said and done, Coach P, I know you didn't see your players get away with a travel. You didn't see your players get away with a double dribble. You didn't see your players get away with some elbows in the paint, some pushing, some shoving. It happens on both ends. You know what I'm saying? And no calls. No calls. Right. So it is what it is, like the clock thing. The clock didn't start, and so therefore the shot was the shot counted.
But that'd be a hard pill to swallow for some people.
That is a hard pill to swallow. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I probably would have turned the table over. But yeah.
Like old girl who found out that she's having a girl when she wanted a boy doing her.
I probably would have turned the table. I'm sure I would have turned the table over, but it is what it is. But I'm about to get out of here, fellas.
Yes. Before you go real quick, that's what I had to say. This is what I had to say because I had you on here, Coach. We have I keep on saying to a certain person, right? We played fantasy football this year. I keep on saying to this certain person that they got an asterisk. Their championship was an asterisk this year. It was a person that you faced off against in the first formation fantasy football championship. And I keep on telling this person, when we went back and looked at your roster, I was like, you might have lost. But they continue. I keep on asking. I asked him, do you claim this win? And emphatically, this person continues to act as though that win is justified.
No, because this coaching thing ain't the only thing I do. When it comes to that fantasy sports and that fantasy football, I do that too. I got a big old belt in my office for that too. I sort of do that too. But that's okay because now I'm gonna handle that this season.
Okay.
There will be no doubt at the end of the year.
Let's go.
There will be no doubt at the
Let's
end
go.
of the year
I like it.
because I'm gonna handle that, and then I'm gonna come on here and be the first formation fantasy football champion.
Okay.
If anybody else think they can beat me in fantasy football, jump in that
Gotta beat
league.
the reigning champion first, though, coach. Gotta beat the
Okay.
reigning champion first. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Gotta
Okay,
come
nothing
see
but
me.
work coming.
As I continue to tell them, it was an asterisk win because
Definitely an asterisk.
Coach P.
That was worse. That was worse than the Lakers bubble championship.
Get him, Coach P. There you go.
Hey, I'm out.
I love it. Right on time, Coach P. I love it. He killed that. He put that right in there on time. I love Coach P. Good talking to him too, man. Congratulations to Coach P and his team for winning the championship this past 4-day weekend for Labor Day weekend. Man, shouts to all the teams that participated in that tournament. I'm sure it was a great tournament. Hate that I missed it. I had prior engagements, but either way, man, I'm looking forward to the next one that's coming up, and hopefully I can make it out to that.
I think there's some stuff that to be talked about tomorrow when we talk to the NBA, Jason, Coach Al, Coach Ace, and Commissioner Myers to speak with them. I think tomorrow we might even get a word with CMB's coach, Andre Miller. So like I said, of course, later on, Wooten and Boyd want to come on and talk that from what they
tomorrow, right?
They're not going to be on tomorrow. Coach NBA will be on the NBA brass will be on tomorrow, as well as maybe Miller, and then Wooten and then will probably be on sometime later in the week, Thursday or Friday, which I told them. So we'll definitely get with them to find out when, so they can we can hear their perspective of it, just to get a whole bunch of different perspectives of what was going on, how it went down. Of course, what's next on the slate? Coach Walcott, Wayne, Timo, Colden, Mike Richardson, of course, they're put up on deck next, putting together the AAU Battle of the Crest, men's and women's, down in Orlando, Florida, July 7th through the 9th, as they're currently taking teams. As I've seen the roster of teams that's out so far, it's a good amount of teams and women, men and women's teams, about 5 or 6 teams in the women's, it looked like, and then you got if I stand correct, about 12 to 14 teams so far
in the men,
for the men, if not more. So of course that's going down, so that'll be next month. They're next on deck, and then of course I think the
next month or July.
July. Well, yeah, I consider June we already. So yeah, July 7th through the 9th. So basically at the 4th of July weekend, in which I'm going to see if it's possible. But of course, there's a lot going on in July. But of course, you're going to see finally for me to probably get my feet, because that'll be to go to Orlando, then turn around and at the end of the month go to Atlanta. But we'll see, of course, in any case. For the fact of the matter, and then I think there's some more stuff going on in the NBA. So of course we'll hear that and find out tomorrow. But what you getting into this week, bro?
Oh man, we we went down to I said it right. We went down to down to South Padre Island this weekend. Had an amazing weekend down there. It was Rough Riders along with Cyro Phi Military and Cyro Chi Military Fraternity Incorporated went down there and had a Memorial Day weekend event, man. That was amazing, man. We had a blast down there in South Padre. Went down there on Wednesday, got there around 2:30, and got everything set up for the festivities that's kicked off on Thursday evening with the pre-meet and greet. And then Friday was the meet and greet. And then Saturday was the beach party and bonfire and all of that, man. So it was beach. It was just a great time, man. A lot of people, I hadn't seen in a while because I was once a Rough Rider and saw some people I hadn't seen in years. Being that I stepped away from Rough Riders over what 6-7 years ago, if not longer. Probably been longer than that actually, but it was good, man, to be able to get back in touch with people I hadn't seen in a while, and then of course, to recruit for the sorority as well as the fraternity. So we had a great opportunity to speak highly of the fraternity, excuse me, as well as speak highly of the sorority, because we had three young ladies that came down to support and come and hang out, who had never been to a Rough Rider event and stuff like that before. So that was something new for them and for those fellas that are a part of this fraternity to hang out at a Rough Rider event as well, and they had never been to something like that, and to also have an opportunity for both the sorority and the fraternity come out to an event where they didn't actually have to work. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we hear about, when we have crossings, a lot of guys complain about working because they, complain about, not being able to have a good time because they always working. Well, this was that opportunity for you to come out and hang out with the frat and with the sorority and not have to worry about doing a lot of work, because everything was basically done by Rough Riders, or being, they was pretty much doing, the majority of the stuff. I mean, we did help out, don't get me wrong, but it was nowhere near as much work as we do during the crossing or anything like that. But man, got back on Sunday, so we was here back in San Antonio Monday for the actual Memorial Day, and so yeah, it was nice.
So I stand corrected on the list in which I was talking about. 21 teams for the men and 17 for the women. Of course, currently
Okay.
Eglin Air Force Base, Herbert Field Air Force Base for the CMAC champions, EMCMB, of course, JBLE, MMBT champions as we know it, the Mayport Naval Station, Moody Air Force Base, Bliss Boy, so out of Fort Bliss, Maxwell Air Force Base, Fort Irwin, Fort Bragg, Tyndall Air Force Base, Warren Robins Air Force Base, Joint Base, Meyer Henderson, Waymack Champions, Fort Sam Houston, Lackland Air Force Base, Nellis Air Force Base, uh, CMB, Colorado Military Basketball Central Champs, Miramar and Camp Pendleton are linking up, Pac West Champs, and Naval Base San Diego. And of course, last but not least, what we are hearing as the Street Champs, Charleston, South Carolina military basketball. Currently, teams that signed up, and on the women's part, Fort Bragg Ready Dragons Air Force Team 1 and 2, Moody Air Force Base, Cannon Air Force Base, ENC 1, and as well as Team Extreme. So 7 women's teams, 21 men's team currently. So that should make for a pretty good tournament at this point. If anyone's looking, add a team in, get a team situated, be sure to contact Wayne Walcott, T. Morris, or Colton St. Cyr. So to get to punch your ticket, so you could be down for a month away, just a little over a month away to getting that. So okay, so back into what we just talked about. So yeah, okay, so a pretty good time with a case like that. Had a good time. I know I've seen bits and pieces of things here and there as I watched over the course of this weekend while doing a couple other things. So definitely. So big news, bro. I mean, I don't know if you caught it over a case like that. The release of a particular highly sought after player. Well, at least I think. D Hop no longer a Cardinal. Now,
Yep. He has officially been released by the Cardinals. Yeah.
and as I woke up, as I thought about that this morning, I woke up and I thought to myself, where could D Hop go?
Well, he said he has a few teams in particular.
Hmm. Two places that came to mind. One, of course, Baltimore. The other one being Chicago came to mind.
Mm.
He could be a problem in Chicago, possibly. Of course, obviously, we're there. Oh, even Washington. Isn't Dallas one of the places that has been talked about?
Mm-mm.
Oh no. Okay, I was about to say, why would
Philly was
Dallas?
one. Philly was one though. Yeah. You Philly was one. You may want to look at, you may want to look and explore all, you may look at all of that as you want to, but I'm telling you now, he already said it. The teams in which Let me find it for you, man. Because you seemed a little bit upset because I'm telling what he said.
Why would you want to go to Philly?
Because he said he wants to go to a team with a quarterback who he feels that can get him the ball.
And you agree with that?
Yeah.
So you
I sure
realize,
do.
right? So this is what we have to realize and what we have to keep in mind. No one's seen Jalen Hurts coming, right? No one's seen
Right.
Jalen Hurts coming. But now we've seen Jalen Hurts.
That part.
I don't think Jalen has the same type of season that he had last year. I don't think he's gonna have a bad season because I mean who he is going to be who he is, and that's what we've seen. But I don't think he has the same type of season that he has last year.
Which is what you're saying that to say, like what type of season is that? What are you're basically you're saying your expectations are that he's not gonna have the team, he's not gonna have the success he had last season. So therefore, where is he going to falter?
For one, well, y'all the run game might actually be better than what it was last year. I think y'all have a little more depth on paper, uh, in which we kind of could look at and say that the depth is going to be different. So I think y'all have a better run game. However, people know what to look for now. Is what I'm saying, especially your division. Like your division now has seen they play them twice a year.
Okay.
They have
Which
seen
means what?
They have seen firsthand. So I would think that they're gonna plan accordingly for that. Here's the reason why your division is one of the harder divisions because no one has won the championship back to back in over 13, 14 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that for D Hop to want to go there, yes, I think you can say there's a 50-50 that if he went, that he would he would contribute to that to where he can reenact some of that. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, people will be coming for Jalen. Well, he had 14 rushing touchdowns last year not rushing touchdowns. Y'all had a high percentage of completing the fourth and shorts and stuff like that. I wonder, is there a way to stop that? I'm pretty sure there's a way to stop that.
Of course not. You can't stop it when you have weapons like Smith, Goddard, well, now I'm about to say Miles Sanders, but Miles Sanders ain't there no more. We got DeAndre Swift.
Y'all got Swift now.
Swift
and Penny.
And Rashad Penny. Like, come on, bro. How do you stop that? There's too many weapons surrounding him. There's too many weapons. The one moment you're trying to stop Jalen is going to get you. You're going to catch you open because you can't.
Action
easy. You're not going to be able to stop everybody, bro. Goddard. What's my other wide receiver? Why I can't think of his name?
Quez?
No, the other big name, number 11.
Smith.
No, that's Devontae. I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about Brown?
His name AJ. Yeah, you can't stop Brown. You gonna stop Brown, Quez. You gonna stop Brown, Quez, Smith, and Goddard, and DeAndre Swift. And Rashad, like, come on, man. And all at the same time, why are you trying to stop Jalen too?
Yes.
It's not gonna happen. There's too many weapons, bro. Too many weapons. Who else got a team with weapons like that?
San Francisco.
Name them. Because right now y'all don't even have a quarter. Right now y'all don't even have a quarterbacks. First off, right now y'all don't even have a quarterback. Y'all gotta have Y'all gotta have a
What
quarterback
we're not
first.
going to do is simply
First,
disrespect our quarterback.
First, y'all gotta have a quarterback
We
first.
have
You can't. You talk about some other team.
We have
You name it.
quarterbacks. But to name the weapons,
Are you really going? Hold on. Are you really
George
going to say y'all
Kittle.
receiving core is better than ours?
Yes.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not joking.
You're smoking, bro. You're smoking, bro.
Really?
You do not believe your receiving
You
core
so
is better.
believe. Yes, I do.
Trey, you cannot, in your rabbit mind, believe that.
I'll help you. Rabbit ass mind. I believe that.
You cannot. Trey.
Yes, we do.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. I know that's your.
Brandon Ayuk can match
It's better
up.
than who? Better than what receiver of ours?
Smith.
He is not. Boy,
He's better than Smith.
Did he have
He's
more?
better than Smith.
Did he have more? Did he have more touchdowns than Smith this season?
He probably didn't, but what I'm
So
saying
how does
is
that make him better?
That's what makes
how does
him
that
better.
make
The
him
fact
better?
That he's in the conversation with Brandon Smith.
He's
with Jalen Smith when we're talking about Brandon Ayuk.
He is not in the conversation. If he doesn't have more receptions, more touchdowns or more receptions or yards than Brown, he's not. Or Smith or Brown.
No, he's not
Only one.
Brown. I don't think he's better, but Debo is.
Debo's better than Brown?
Yes.
Boy, stop. Boy, stop.
Ayuk.
Boy, stop. Who? Huh?
Brandon Ayuk is rival to AJ Smith.
No, he's not. He is not. Maybe Quez Watkins. But he might be better than Quez Watkins. He might be up there with Quez.
Jawan Jenkins is better than Quez Watkins.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
Christian McCaffrey is better than your whole running back room alone.
You bro, stop it.
Don't you dare. Christian McCaffrey is better than your whole running back room?
You can't really name our current, but you can't really do nothing about our running back room right now. Christian McCaffrey wasn't better than Miles Sanders. He was not.
Yes, he was.
Bro, if you don't quit.
Elijah Mitchell is better than Rashard Penny and Boston Scott.
Stop
it. He may not be better than
DeAndre Swift. He sure is not.
Swift. Yeah, he's probably not better than Swift, but
he is not better. He is not.
We have Christian McCaffrey.
We gonna see. Guess what? We get to play each other.
better than Goddard.
That might be the only. And if he is, he's a slight. It's so slight and so minute. Let me see these stats. George Kittle stats versus I bet you it ain't even
out the majority of the year.
So how can he be better than? That my hope. No, see, you can't even. That don't even make sense, Trey. You can't make it. How can? That's like saying. Okay, so that's like saying. Hold on.
Jordan's better than LeBron, and he's been out. Jordan's been out.
But he played. He's out. He's out because of his career is over. Yes. Kittle's out because of an injury. That's not the same. You can't do that. He's out for an injury compared to a career is over. Jordan don't play no more. But what if that's the case? Then you saying
his career is over, and we're talking about.
Excuse me, what?
The Eagles' career is over, and we're talking.
And guess who Philly made career over quicker? Whose season over quicker? Them 49ers. And let's talk about that. Since you want to talk about whose season is over, who played one more game than y'all did?
Actually, everyone's season's over. It's a whole new season.
Yeah, but who played one more game than y'all did? Who finished playing at last? Don't worry about it. I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Kittles versus Kittles versus Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
Kittles versus Goddard stats. Let's see. Let's see, bro. Because I really, how does Dallas Goddard stack up against George Kittle? Let's see.
Again, like I said, it's gonna be a little disparity because for a simple fact,
I don't want to hear that. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? That's not Goddard's fault. That is not Goddard's fault. Do not blame Goddard for that. Don't want to hear that.
It doesn't take away from the fact that Goddard is not.
Is what? Do not take
Goddard is not.
Do not blame Goddard. Do not blame Goddard. Do not blame Goddard for Kittle's faults. So let's see. Receptions. Kittle's 60. Goddard 55. Targets. Kittle's 86. Goddard 69. Yards, Kittle's 765. Goddard, 702. Yards per reception, Kittle's 12.8. Goddard, 12.8. Longest, Goddard, Kittle's 54. Goddard, 31. TDs, 20. No, not TDs. 20 plus yards, 20 by Kittle's, 12 by Goddard. Touchdowns, 11. Goddard had 3. Snapped games. What are you talking about? Kittle's only missed, 3 games? 2 games? He played 15. He played 15 games to Goddard's 3. So Goddard had played less games. He the one came up short. Goddard had 12 games.
Kittle may have started in those games.
That's enough.
He didn't play them all because he wasn't playing, because he was injured.
That's all I can only go by what the stats show. They got 15 games down here for 12 of Goddard's. So Goddard missed more games than Kittle's.
That's probably why their numbers are close.
Yeah, that's probably why you're right. Why their numbers are close? Because if Goddard would have played more games, he probably surpassed his Kittle's. You're right. Snaps. Snaps. Kittle's had 859 snaps to Goddard 735, bro. He had over 100 more snaps than Kittle's. Than Goddard. Get out of here.
You know,
bro.
What?
So I give you Kittle's. I give you that. I give you Kittle's is better. But this again is with Kittle's playing 3 more games than Goddard.
You know what?
3 more games.
Say, first weekend in December.
That's right, baby. That's right. Don't let it pass you, bro. Come see us. Don't let it pass you. Come see us, because y'all coming to Philly. Come see us. Come see us. And we've been beat. We're gonna give y'all a repeat of what happened in the NFC championship game, baby. The NFC championship game. And whatever quarterback is there is gonna get the business again. I'm gonna tell you. And our defense is that defense is gonna be hellacious, boy. We just improved it too. Oh my gosh, y'all had a better chance last season. We didn't just win, picked up some more firepower, but y'all don't want these problems, bro. You know y'all don't want these problems, Trey. Y'all don't want these problems.
I haven't the slightest. I'm not worried. Just like I wasn't worried. Just like I wasn't worried during the NFC Championship game. It just
you wasn't, but you should have been. You should have been.
Y'all injured our quarterback. That's it.
You should have been.
That was y'all saving grace, injuring our quarterback.
Which may happen again. Because guess what? When we see y'all again, guess what? That's what they're gonna talk about. The last meeting between these 2 teams.
We're better.
2 quarterbacks went down.
We're better equipped this year.
Okay.
We have a better quarterback.
I bet.
We probably had the best backup quarterback. We probably had the best quarterback room in the NFL, honestly.
Boy, stop.
We probably have the best quarterback room in the NFL.
How you figure?
Because
what y'all got?
Brock Purdy and Trey Lance.
Trey Lance ain't show nothing. So he's gonna be
the starter.
Here we go with that again.
He is.
Over Sam Darnold, huh? He gonna beat out Sam Darnold.
I think it's the, you know what? Real talk. I think Sam's going to end up being a starter only based upon that Brock and Trey are still recovering from injuries. But I do think in the case of one of them becomes healthy, then Sam gets set down, unless he's cooking.
Well, he can cook all. Whoever cooking when they come and see us will be uncooked when it's all said and done. We're gonna get to see that second string quarterback or whoever it's gonna be, so and possibly that third string.
They're gonna be under 140 pounds.
That's right. They're gonna be undercooked. Yep. Y'all gonna have to send it back to the kitchen because take this back. It ain't done. Yeah, because he's gonna be uncooked by the time he comes see us, and Brock gonna be like, "Man, I tried to tell you, I'm gonna live in witness. Don't go out there against the Philly boys. The boys bring the heat. I'm telling you, they bring the heat."
We are good.
Boy, we finna. Woo wee.
So, but you really think y'all? I doubt y'all have
Our
a chance.
defense, Riddick. I'm gonna tell you, as long as Riddick stay healthy,
Well, I'm saying I doubt y'all have a chance at
Jacoby Dean,
dude.
Davis.
I doubt y'all have a chance at
Y'all don't want
D Hop.
D Hop. Oh yeah, we getting D Hop. Y'all better hope we don't get D Hop. Y'all better hope and pray we don't get D
Y'all
Hop.
better hope we don't get him.
Boy, we get D Hop. It don't matter because if y'all quarterback don't have the time to throw the ball, it don't matter.
We got
If
time.
y'all get him,
We got time.
couldn't tell in the NFC Championship game. Couldn't tell in the championship game. It don't matter if y'all did get D Hop. Y'all can get Megatron. Y'all can go back and get Megatron. Y'all can go get T.O. and probably add Randy Moss to it, and it still wouldn't matter. Because them boys finna be after him. I'm telling you. They don't want them problems. Jacoby Dean, Davis, Hassan Reddick, bro. Y'all don't want them problems. And Darius slaying them out there. Bro, y'all don't want them problems. Y'all don't want them problems. I'm telling you, y'all don't want them problems. And tell CMC, try and run the ball if he want to. He gonna find himself right next. He gonna find himself right next to right next to Brock Purdy on the side and getting hurt.
We got a full year with
And Kerry Kittles. Tell him to sit down too. I mean Kerry Kittle. George Kittle. I don't Kerry Kittles. I'm thinking about the New York Knicks back in the day basketball team. I mean George Kittles. Don't tell him to come across that middle. The boys gonna tear him up. He thought he had a 15 game season last year. He gonna cut it short. He gonna be down to 13, 14. I'm telling you, these boys bringing the heat, bro. Bringing the heat.
Just wait.
Okay.
Just wait. So, of course, y'all hear the tune coming in. Y'all know what that means. That's I greatly appreciate y'all rocking with this morning. Greatly appreciate Coach 2003 MBA military basketball champion Coach Harris Daniel. Great accomplishment. Of course, now he said he's rest for running back. Be sure to tap in and tune in tomorrow as we have the brass from the MBA, that is Military Basketball Association, to talk about the post-season, what it looks like, and what it looks like going forward. So, of course, we hear them throughout the week. We'll get a chance to talk to our man Wooten, bring him on the show, him and Boyd, tap in. Coach Alex Miller had him on here. Always one to speak what his mind is, so we hear what he has to say. Tough year for CMB as they did win their conference championship, but 2 finals championships, and they fall in both, that being the NMBT as well as the NBA championship. So we'll get a chance to hear from Coach Miller and speak on, of course, his team. Still, great accomplishments. As I said, we got the NBA Finals getting ready to start. NHL Finals start. Panthers versus the Golden Knights.
Trey,
yes,
real quick. Also, who's in the women's college World Series, softball World Series? Who's in the championship game?
The USC Trojans.
Oh, and who they playing?
The UCLA.
I don't think. No, they not. Because we knocked off the Bruins. We knocked the hell off the Bruins. No, they not. The Bruins definitely ain't playing. No, sir. It would be them Oklahoma. Boom! Again, baby. Them girls, that's a dynasty over there. That woman over there is the coach of some softball.
That is a dynasty. Yeah, that is a dynasty.
Them girls over there.
Well, it's their
they just set a record.
Yeah, I say it's their time right now.
Yeah,
definitely it's their time for them. Of course,
like old girl used to be from the Tennessee. Tennessee Vols basketball, females basketball. That's how she is. Old girl is over there in Oklahoma in softball. We back in the big game again, baby. Let go.
Greatly appreciate y'all rocking with us. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Be able to tap in. Bishop, any last words before you get out here?
Man, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Please continue to tune in to First Formation Monday through Friday, 1100 hours for you civilian personnel. That's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget, come check us out. We'll be talking basketball, football, baseball, soccer, flag football, NBA, WNBA, fantasy. Get ready. Y'all speaking to the champion. Y'all talking to the champion right now. Y'all talking to the champion. I don't know why I don't never want to let me. I'm the champion. I don't know. There you go. The champion. I am the champion. The champion is here. I'm not an asterisk champion. I am the true champion. Y'all see it here. Y'all see it right here, man. Y'all be still. Y'all be sure to take care. If y'all want to come for the throne, y'all come for the throne next season. Right now, I'm holding it down for the 2022 season as the first champion of First Formations Fantasy Football League. Let's go. Anywho, y'all be easy. Y'all have a great Tuesday, and we'll holler back at y'all. Cyro 5 Military